Today we'll be learning how to make a ruffle. Welcome to week 6 of our sewing skill book. We're going to be making a ruffle today, and the supplies that you will need is a 5-inch square and your sewing machine and some thread. And we're going to go right in over to our machines and change our settings. So let's go over to the machine and I'll show you how to do that. Okay, on each machine there's a place where it shows the stitch length. On this particular one, it's right here. It looks like little stitches right here, and it says it's at 2.5. So what we're going to change it to is the largest one, which is 5. Okay, so just figure out where your stitch length is and change it. And then go ahead and get your fabric, and let's make sure your machine is threaded. Okay, we have our sewing machine at the highest stitch length that it'll go. And we're gonna go ahead and do a 1/4 inch seam down the side. Then remember not to backstitch, okay? Put your needle up. And when we're making a ruffle, we don't need to backstitch at the top or the bottom. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and put our foot right along the line that we just made, and we're going to follow that line and try to make it as straight as we can. We'll do exactly the same thing, another 1/4 inch. Put your needle up, and you want to keep the strings long. Then I like to take a pin and separate my strings from the top and the bottom, because we're going to be pulling them in a minute. Okay? Great, so they're all separated. So this is what your stitches are going to look like. You're going to see the top row and the bottom row, and they're really big stitches. Okay, so now I've got my top stitches, my top strings. All I'm going to do is I'm going to take just the top ones, and I'm going to pull, and I'm going to slide it down. Okay, so as you can see, it's gathering. So this is how you make your ruffle. Okay, so then if you have a really long piece of fabric, then sometimes you want to start on the other side and go the other direction also. But you want to make sure that if you're pulling the top strings, pull the top strings. If you're pulling the bottom, pull the bottom. Always make sure you're pulling the same set. Okay, so this is all you have for your sample for this week. We're going to pin it on and put it in our book. Okay, here I have it. I have it pinned on, and I labeled it. It's week 6, make a ruffle. And you know what? You should put your name on it and put down the date. So I looked back on mine from when I was a kid and saw I didn't have a date on it, and I wish I did, so I could have known, you know, exactly how old I was when I did it. I don't know, maybe I was 10 or 11 years old, maybe 12, but it's fun memories. So now I have this, I have a plastic protector sheet, and I'm just going to slide it right in and add it to my collection. Okay, so I wanted to use all of the skills that we've been making and learning, and so I made this cute little apron. It'll fit maybe a 2-year-old. So I did my 1/4 inch seam along all the edges. I made buttonholes. You can see there's the button that I sewed on, and there's the buttonhole that I made. And then I took the ruffle that we did. For this one, I folded the fabric over and sewed it together, and then I ruffled both sides together, so it was it'd be a cute little ruffle that was folded. And then I had my raw edges, and then I just sewed my raw edges to each other. And then afterwards, I took my pinking shears and I sheared it so that it wouldn't fray. So anyway, so that is taking several of the steps. I have almost all of them except for the zipper that we have learned so far to make a little project. Have a little pocket right here. Anyway, I hope that you will make something too. And if you do, will you please take a picture of it and add it on to the comments down below. I would love to see anything that you're making with your skills. See you next week on Creating Joy.